Alright, welcome ladies and gentlemen. The Ubisoft creative director for Star Wars Outlaws has been fired. Kind of admitting defeat there, aren't they? Yeah. So Ubisoft has basically replaced him. Yeah. That's all, of course, after all the information comes out that the game has underperformed on sales. Although they're not actually revealing the figures properly yet, which is hilarious. But secondly, they're desperately trying to make this a success story for the holiday period. You know, Christmas, festive, etc. I don't think it's going to work, but we shall wait with bated breath, I guess. So we're going to dive into this today. Hit subscribe if you're new here. And do turn those bell notifications on. If I seem ever so slightly a bit off, I have pulled an all-nighter because I was on the Lotus Eaters podcast for their election live stream. So, yes, I'm currently seeing sounds and hearing shapes right now. Anyway, let's take a look at this. So this article I will leave linked down below. But Ubisoft replaces Julian Geraghty as creative director for Star Wars Outlaws as the game has underperformed on sales expectations. This is a pretty major deal. This is a pretty big deal. It's a pretty big deal for a few reasons, because it's like an admission. Like it's absolutely an admission of failure. You wouldn't change the creative director otherwise. You just wouldn't. Especially when they're looking to push the game creatively. Everything that they've said in any meeting is words to the effect of, we're looking to improve this game now. We've listened to you, we're going to improve it, and we're going to make it a long-term success. Which does mean creatively speaking. And that's you know, a similar narrative which they've had with Assassin's Creed Shadows. So there's that. Also, even if it had been successful, even if the sales were still underperforming, but they weren't going to be changing anything development-wise, the fact that you fire the creative director is still bad. Like, you've got big patches coming out to fix things, and you're replacing the creative director. It's a bad sign. Like, it's an admission of failure. But, I mean, I don't care. It's funny, to be honest. Ubisoft deserves to just absolutely die. And the stock reflects some of that as well. It is important if you look at the 5 days. I mean, it's almost up 1%. In a month, obviously, it's just down because they can't seem to hold anything. They just don't seem to hold anything steady. 6 months is awful. You know, you're looking at near 40%. Year to date, 43% down. Over a whole year from this time last year as well, 52% down. I mean, it's just tragic at this point in time. So like I said, they deserve to die. Who cares? So in the game's first developer update, Ubisoft shared that Drew Reckner is now the game's creative director, and that the company has been, quote, listening to, gathering and actioning players' feedback. And we see there are key areas where we can elevate the game experience to better meet your expectations. I mean, the expectations were pretty low, but you couldn't even do that. So Reckner has been with Ubisoft Massive Entertainment for nearly 11 years and has been a creative director at the company since January 2024, according to his LinkedIn. So he was previously the associate game director on Massive's Avatar Frontiers of Pandora, which some people seem to really like, actually. And Ubisoft, like, they keep trying to push that as well. But anyway, he echoed the comments from Ubisoft in a message addressed to gamers, quote, I also want to take the time to say that we hear not only your positive feedback, but your constructive feedback as well. Thank you for sharing with us and helping us make the game even better. Even better means it was better to, like, it had something positive going for it to begin with. I mean, this game, you know, for all intents and purposes, is as if you took a massive deuce in a toilet, jammed a fork in it, rummaged it around, and then sold that. That's basically what you're selling here, just a lump of shit that you've messed with. That's a bad analogy. My brain doesn't brain at the moment. Anyway, but yeah, you can't say it's even better, because that means that it has had positive reviews, and barely anyone really likes this game. So Reckner also shared his vision for the game moving forward. Says, quote, "The first key area of improvement to the game is combat, where we see a real opportunity to add more depth." What, so they're not just, you're not going to be slapping people as Mam Solo? Yeah, that's the thing. Just runs around hiding and then slapping people. It's fucking ridiculous. An excitement to the experience, further rewarding your tactics and precision. Our second key area is stealth, which is not only about improving the readability and consistency of enemy detection, but also providing choice in how you want to approach each encounter. That's kind of good, but again, no one wants to do stealth all the time. Finally, our third key area of focus is centered around the character controls, which means improving the reliability of cover, increasing the responsiveness of climbing and crouching, and generally improving the consistency of the controls overall. Why was this not done to begin with? It just doesn't make any sense. Oh no, wait, it does. Because they just rushed this game out, even though they didn't rush it out. It's still years in development, but they still decide to release it prematurely when it's not a fully functional game, when all of these things should have been ironed out, and you're not having a price tag of over $100 fucking on it. It is absolutely absurd that video game companies believe they can charge over $100 or anywhere close to $100 for a game that is fundamentally not complete and is, by all intents and purposes, actually broken. Anyway. So while he pointed out these are areas of improvement he and Ubisoft team will be working on, he did not provide any specific details, but instead promised, quote, "You can expect to see more details about how we will be celebrating and embracing player choice more than ever before, whether it's sneaking through encounters, going in blasters blazing, or everything in between. We will provide more specific details about the changes to these areas and more in the upcoming weeks as we provide further updates to you. All of this will culminate in the release of the title update 1.4, which will release on November 21st. That is alongside them releasing on Steam, which is just hilarious because that is going to bomb on Steam. Right, like it is going to bomb on Steam, and we're going to have the numbers, and it's going to be very, very funny. And all you can do is look at these people and say, how did you actually turn Star Wars into detritus? How? How did you do it? It was the cash cow. It was the golden goose. And you fucked it. Anyway. So, yeah, quite comical. So the change from Garrity to Reckner comes in the wake of Ubisoft admitting that Star Wars Outlaws underperformed. Yep. So you're not going to get rid of someone if they'd been successful and you're happy with their performance. You just wouldn't. Like, at all, in fact. There's no way in hell you would get rid of someone. Hilariously, it's rumoured that the game actually has only sold around 1 million copies. That's, like, god-awfully bad. That's not even... It's not even funny how bad that is. I mean, it is funny, obviously. But, yeah, like, it's outside the realms of sort of it being comical at this point. Because it is just so bad. Anyway, there you go. I don't have much else to say, really. They've changed creative directors. Clearly a bad sign for Ubisoft. And the stock is tanking as well. So, yeah, it's just fun. But you get what you deserve, Ubisoft. So anyway, hit subscribe if you're new here. Do turn those bell notifications on. Thanks so much for watching. Take care. Bye-bye now.